Did you know that reheating the raw cooking oil can release toxic chemicals linked to cancer, heart disease, and even brain damage? A study published in the journal Food Chemistry found that when certain oils are reheated, they can break down into compounds so dangerous that scientists compare them to cigarette smoke in terms of toxicity. That's right, just frying your food with the same oil twice might be as harmful to your body as lighting up a cigarette. Sounds insane, right? But it's very real. Most people have no idea that something as ordinary as reheating oil could silently be wreaking havoc on their health every single day. What's worse is that some of the most popular cooking oils in our kitchens are actually the most dangerous when reused. They don't just lose flavor, they transform chemically into something harmful, sometimes even deadly over time. Before we dive into the list, remember, this isn't about fear-mongering. It's about protecting yourself and your loved ones with real, science-backed knowledge. And trust me, once you hear about the number one oil on this list, the one that turns into a literal chemical cocktail when reheated, you'll probably throw it out of your kitchen immediately. So stick around, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who needs to know the truth. Let's count down from 7 to 1 and uncover the oils that could be poisoning your meals without you even realizing it. Number 7. Vegetable oil. Coming in at number 7 is plain old vegetable oil. It sounds harmless, right? The name alone makes it seem like it's made from some wholesome garden blend, but the truth is far from that. Vegetable oil is usually a blend of several cheap seed oils like soybean, corn, or sunflower oil, none of which are particularly stable at high temperatures. That's a big problem when it comes to reheating. Seed oils contain something called fatty acids. The more unsaturated these fatty acids are, the more likely they are to break down when exposed to heat. Vegetable oils are loaded with polyunsaturated fats, which means they oxidize easily. When reheated, these oxidized fats produce something called aldehydes, compounds that have been linked to serious health problems like cancer and neurodegenerative diseases. Imagine cooking your favorite fries, letting the oil cool, then using it again the next day. What you're really doing is creating a chemical soup where those healthy-looking golden fries are now drenched in molecules that can damage your DNA and attack your organs from the inside out. Studies published in journals like Food and Chemical Toxicology have shown that reheated vegetable oil also increases inflammation in the body, which can contribute to everything from joint pain to heart disease over time. The scary part is that you won't see or smell these changes. The oil might look and even taste the same, but inside your body, it's not the same at all. So if you're the kind of person who saves oil to use later, especially vegetable oil, it's time to reconsider. You might save a few bucks today, but you could be paying with your health in the long run. And we're just getting started. Number 6. Corn oil. At number 6, we have corn oil. Now, corn oil is everywhere. It's cheap and has a high smoke point, and people assume it's safe just because it's so widely used. But here's where things get dark. Corn oil is another polyunsaturated fat powerhouse, which means it's highly unstable when exposed to heat, especially repeated heat. The more you reheat it, the more it oxidizes. And every time that oxidation happens, you're creating lipid peroxides, highly reactive molecules that can damage your cells in ways that are irreversible. You've probably heard of free radicals, right? These are unstable atoms that cause damage to cells, leading to aging, inflammation, and chronic disease. When you reheat corn oil, you're basically turbocharging the creation of those free radicals in your food. That deep-fried snack that tastes so good might be hiding a chemical reaction that accelerates aging, stresses your liver, and increases your risk of heart disease. One study published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry found that reheated corn oil contains high levels of something called 4-hydroxytrans-2-nonenal, or HNE, a toxic aldehyde linked to cancer, liver damage, and even Alzheimer's disease. And get this, corn oil is often genetically modified. That means it may already have pesticide residues before you even start cooking. Combine that with oxidation from heat, and you've got a mix that's anything but safe. Picture this. You're cooking tortillas in corn oil, then storing the leftover oil and using it the next morning to make eggs. You think you're being economical, but your body is being exposed to stressors that build up over time, weakening your immune system and silently undermining your health. This isn't alarmism, it's science. And it's exactly why the oils we're discussing today deserve a second look in your kitchen. Speaking of second looks, if this information is already changing how you see your pantry, now's a great time to give this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and share it with your family or friends. These small insights can protect lives. Number 5. Canola oil. Next up at number 5 is canola oil, the so-called heart-healthy choice that millions of people use every day. It's marketed as a cleaner, cholesterol-friendly alternative, but here's what they don't tell you. Canola oil is made from the rapeseed plant, which naturally contains erucic acid, a compound that was once considered harmful to humans in high amounts. While modern processing reduces this, the refining itself involves high heat and chemical solvents like hexane. That alone should raise a red flag, but let's talk about what happens when you reheat canola oil. Just like corn and vegetable oils, canola is loaded with polyunsaturated fats, and when these fats are heated again and again, they break down and produce oxidative stress. That's a fancy way of saying they start damaging cells inside your body. What's especially nasty is that canola oil has a relatively high level of omega-6 fatty acids compared to omega-3 acids. When reheated, it distorts this already skewed ratio even further, triggering inflammation in the body, a root cause of many chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes, arthritis, and even cancer. One animal study from the University of Massachusetts showed that reheating canola oil not only reduced the oil's nutritional quality, but actually increased markers of oxidative stress and cholesterol levels in the blood. And while animal studies aren't always directly transferable to humans, the biochemical effects are too serious to ignore. That sautéed dish you reheated in leftover canola oil last night, it might have tasted great, but your cells were likely fighting off oxidative damage for hours afterward. Another thing to note is that canola oil is very commonly used in processed foods, meaning you're probably consuming it even if you're not cooking with it at home. So, if you're also reheating it in your own kitchen, the double exposure could be making things worse. It's like smoking 2 packs a day instead of 1. Your body has to work overtime to cope. That's why cutting down on canola oil, especially reheated canola oil, could be one of the smartest health decisions you make this year. Number 4. Sunflower oil. Sunflower oil sounds like something pure and natural, almost like you're squeezing sunshine into your food. But when it comes to reheating, sunflower oil has a dark side. It contains a very high amount of something called linoleic acid, a polyunsaturated omega-6 fatty acid. While omega-6 fats aren't inherently bad, they become a major problem when they're overheated. And sunflower oil, it doesn't handle heat well at all. When reheated, especially during deep frying or pan frying, sunflower oil breaks down quickly and releases aldehydes, the same group of toxic chemicals we've already mentioned. These compounds are not just linked to cancer, but also to respiratory diseases and even cellular mutations over time. Researchers from the University of the Basque Country in Spain found that sunflower oil, when reused multiple times for frying, produces some of the highest levels of aldehydes compared to other common oils. That means if you've got a habit of reusing sunflower oil to cook your cutlets or veggies, you're not just heating oil, you're creating a chemical hazard in your kitchen. Worse still, those aldehydes don't just stay in the oil. They seep into the food, that crispy golden crust. It might be loaded with invisible toxins that stay in your body far longer than the flavor does. Sunflower oil is also heavily refined before it hits grocery shelves. This refining process strips away natural antioxidants like vitamin E, which normally help fight off oxidation. So reheating it essentially gives you oil with very little defense against breaking down into harmful molecules. If you're someone who likes to keep a bottle on the counter for multiple uses, it might be time to stop. A simple switch in oil could be the difference between a meal that nourishes you and one that silently damages your health. Number 3. Soybean oil. Soybean oil is another kitchen staple that has quietly made its way into nearly everything: restaurant fryers, processed snacks, and even margarine. But reheating soybean oil is one of the fastest ways to turn a cooking session into a science experiment gone wrong. This oil is extremely rich in omega-6 fatty acids, particularly linoleic acid, which becomes highly unstable at high temperatures. When you reheat it, especially if it's already been used once before, it starts to undergo a chain reaction of oxidation that produces a wide variety of toxic byproducts. One of the most concerning byproducts: trans fats. Yes, the same dangerous fats that have been banned in many countries are created when soybean oil is overheated or reheated. These man-made fats increase LDL, or bad cholesterol, while lowering HDL, the good kind, making them one of the leading contributors to heart disease. You may have ditched margarine and junk food to avoid trans fats, but if you're still cooking with soybean oil more than once, you could be putting those same toxins right back into your system. And it doesn't stop there. A study from the University of California, Riverside found that soybean oil may actually affect brain function. In mice, it was linked to genetic changes in the brain associated with neurological conditions like autism, Alzheimer's, and anxiety. Now, to be clear, this doesn't prove soybean oil causes these conditions in humans, but it does show how deeply this oil can interact with your body's systems, especially once it's chemically altered through reheating. You might not even notice it. The oil doesn't always smell bad or look strange, but the microscopic changes in its structure are quietly turning every bite into something your body struggles to detoxify. So if soybean oil is still your go-to, it might be time to rethink your choices. Number 2. Grapeseed oil. You've probably heard that grapeseed oil is a healthy, high-end option. It's often recommended for salad dressings, light sautéing, and even baking. The label says it's high in antioxidants. The branding feels premium. But once you dig into the science, it's clear that grapeseed oil is one of the worst offenders when it comes to reheating. Why? Because it's extremely high in polyunsaturated fats, especially omega-6s. In fact, grapeseed oil contains about 70% polyunsaturated fat, which is one of the highest of any cooking oil. And that's a recipe for disaster under high heat. When you reheat grapeseed oil, even just once, it oxidizes rapidly, releasing free radicals and aldehydes into the air and into your food. What makes it even more dangerous is that many people think they're making a healthy choice when they cook with it. They might saute vegetables, thinking they're doing something good for their bodies, when in reality, they're frying them in a chemical cloud of oxidative stress. A research article published in Critical Reviews in Food Science and Nutrition explains that highly unsaturated oils like grapeseed should never be used for frying or repeated heating. The problem isn't just that the oil goes rancid, it's that it turns into a pro-inflammatory cocktail that taxes your liver, weakens your blood vessels, and accelerates cellular aging. Imagine eating something that tastes clean and light while it's secretly aging your arteries from the inside. That's the paradox of grapeseed oil. And unlike some oils that give off a burnt smell when they've gone bad, grapeseed oil can still smell neutral even after it's chemically broken down. That means you might have no warning signs before you ingest a mouthful of oxidative compounds. Inhaling the fumes from overheated grapeseed oil is also dangerous. The toxic fumes can irritate your lungs and contribute to indoor air pollution, especially if you're cooking in a small, unventilated kitchen. The takeaway: grapeseed oil might be fine raw, in moderation, but once you reheat it, especially more than once, it turns from a health food into a hazard. And yet, the next oil on our list, the number one most toxic when reheated, makes all of these look tame. Number 1. Cottonseed oil. And now we've arrived at number 1, the most dangerous cooking oil to reheat: cottonseed oil. This oil might not be sitting on every household's counter, but it's shockingly common in processed foods, fast food restaurants, and packaged snacks. It's cheap, it's used in bulk, and it's often hidden in ingredient lists under vague labels like vegetable oil. But behind the scenes, cottonseed oil is arguably the most toxic of them all, especially when it's reheated. First off, cottonseed oil isn't even technically a food-grade oil by traditional agricultural standards. Cotton isn't a food crop. It's classified as an industrial crop, which means it's not subject to the same safety regulations as edible plants. Cotton plants are heavily treated with pesticides, and since cottonseed oil is extracted from the seeds, those pesticide residues often make their way right into the oil. But that's just the beginning of the problem. Cottonseed oil is extremely high in polyunsaturated fats, particularly omega-6, which means it's incredibly unstable when exposed to heat. When you reheat it, especially during deep frying, it rapidly oxidizes and produces extremely high levels of harmful compounds like cyclic aldehydes, lipid peroxides, and even trans fats. These toxic byproducts have been directly linked in scientific studies to increased risk of cancer, heart disease, liver toxicity, and even reproductive issues. One study in the Journal of Food Science and Technology found that reheated cottonseed oil not only produced the highest amount of polar compounds, a marker for degraded oil quality, but also had the most pronounced negative effects on internal organs in animal models. And here's where it gets even scarier. Cottonseed oil contains a natural toxin called 𝐾𝐨𝐧'𝐭. While most commercial producers try to remove it during refining, traces can still remain. 𝐾𝐾 has been shown to impair fertility in men and can cause organ damage when consumed in large quantities over time. Combine that with toxic breakdown products from reheating, and you've got a literal chemical nightmare in a bottle. So, if you're the type of person who thinks, it's just oil, I'll use it again, think again, especially if that oil is cottonseed. This isn't a small health tweak we're talking about. It's a major health hazard that could affect everything from your cholesterol levels to your long-term disease risk. Cut it out of your kitchen, and you might be cutting out future problems before they start. So there you have it, the 7 cooking oils that turn toxic when reheated, and the scariest part. These oils are hiding in plain sight. They're in your cupboard, they're in your favorite takeout meals, and they're in the healthy snacks you pick up at the grocery store. But now that you know the science behind what happens when these oils are reheated, you can start making smarter, safer choices for you and your family. This isn't about demonizing fats or scaring you away from cooking. It's about awareness. Because a lot of what's marketed as safe and healthy isn't safe at all when it's put back on the stove a second time. And unfortunately, food labels don't come with a warning that says, don't reuse this oil or it might turn into a chemical weapon. That part's up to you. If you want to protect your brain, your heart, and your long-term health, the best thing you can do is swap out these oils for more stable options, like avocado oil, ghee, or even extra virgin olive oil used at low temperatures. And just as important, avoid reheating your oil altogether when you can. Your body doesn't forget what it absorbs. Those aldehydes, peroxides, and toxic fumes don't just disappear. They add up over time. If this video opened your eyes to something you didn't know before, take 1 second now to hit the like button. If you want to keep learning how to protect yourself and your loved ones through smart, science-based choices, make sure to subscribe. And if you know someone who fries with the same oil over and over again, share this video with them. It might just change their life. Now, we want to hear from you. Have you ever reused cooking oil without realizing how harmful it could be? Or which cooking oil are you planning to avoid most after learning this? Share with us your experiences and opinions in the comments below. We love to hear them. Thanks for watching.